Hey everyone, Creel here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're diving into the recent launch of The World Within. I got a lot to say about this and how Blizzard handled the launch, so let's get right into it. The World Within officially launched on August 23rd. Well, sort of. That was the date for those who decided to spend an extra 40 to 50 bucks to get the early access. Yes, early access drama, let's go. At first, this decision seemed a bit strange to me. Well, actually, straight up stupid. I kept thinking about why they would split up the launch like this and risk ruining launch day for everyone. And then eventually I came to the conclusion that it was probably about playing it safe. Let me explain. By dividing the launch into two dates, August 23rd for early access and August 27th for everyone else, they likely hoped to reduce the server load. This would, in theory, provide a smoother launch, make the whole experience look better, and maybe even improve their reputation when it comes to handling big events. All that, and it could also have us pay for it. Of course, sounds like a good idea, right? I get the logic behind it, but it had some downsides too. Personally, I didn't love the split launch. For me, it kind of ruined what could have been a huge singular event. Instead, it felt smaller on both days. This was reflected on Twitch as well, where the World of Warcraft category only hit around 300,000 concurrent viewers. Which isn't bad of course, but not as impressive as it could have been. It needs to be said though, the WoW community is mostly old gamers compared to other games, and a lot of us probably weren't watching the launch on Twitch. So, most likely, those viewer numbers aren't the best metric to judge the success of the launch. Indeed, when it comes to player count, I actually think the numbers were huge, and here is where my initial thoughts started to crumble. Even with the split launch, the server felt heavy and crowded, and that's a sign that plenty of people were logging in. Blizzard also definitely pushed hard on marketing, maybe even took over for the reduced impact of the split launch. So even though the Twitch viewership wasn't as high as I expected, I'm betting that the actual launch was a big success. Just playing the game, you can see how packed the cities are. Plus, with the changes that Blizzard made, like removing the differentiation between realms, it's clear that they were expecting, and actually got, a lot of traffic. So yeah, maybe the early access itself wasn't as much as a failed project as I thought it would be. But here's where things get a little bit personal for me. I didn't like the early access model at all. I've been waiting for this release ever since Dragonflight came out, which I didn't get to fully experience because I was a complete beginner without the purchased expansion. But now that I've been loving the game for a while, I really wanted to be part of the World Within launch. However, once again, I was left out because I didn't want to pay the extra money. And it isn't just about the money, it just felt unfair that the majority of the community had to watch others enjoy the game 4 days in advance. Frustration that adds up to the fact that for the same reason, I couldn't even participate in the beta testing since both were perks of the Epic Edition. I get that it's not the end of the world, but it definitely took away some of the excitement for me. I really wanted to be a part of the initial experience, and it was disappointing to miss out. Now, though, let's talk about the game itself. What does it feel like to play The World Within after 2 years of Dragonflight? The biggest takeaway is that the expansion is clearly story-driven. It's about immersing the player in a rich narrative with majestic world creation and a deep ecosystem to dive into, and honestly, it feels great. Dragonflight refined the gameplay, but its story and context felt a bit weak. The World Within, on the other hand, seems to be addressing that. The focus on a compelling storyline is refreshing and provides a new depth to the game. Even though it's early to make final judgments, the community feels more engaged and the feedback loop between players and Blizzard is at its best. Now, for someone like me who's naturally competitive, hearing that the World Within is story-driven can be a bit intimidating. Is the focus on the story going to impact the quality of the endgame content? I think it's worth remembering though that a strong storyline doesn't have to mean sacrificing competitive gameplay, and maybe the biggest legacy that Dragonflight left us with is just that. Solid, high-quality gameplay. I'm positive that the shift in focus will only complement rather than detract from the competitive aspects of the game. Playing the World Within at launch, especially in the first week, has evoked a lot of feelings. It feels like I'm truly back in the World of Warcraft. The gameplay is as solid as it was in Dragonflight, if not better, and the storytelling density is at its highest. The cinematics, the animated content, together with the satellite content being released are impressive, and the marketing campaigns are in full swing. We are seeing a rise in player numbers and engagement. All of this makes it feel like not just a beautiful game, but a revitalized community experience. As for the expansion cycles, we're moving from a 24-month cycle to an 18-month cycle. Initially, this worried me. Was it just to push out expansions faster for more money? But it seems the goal is to create denser narrative and keep player engaged with fewer gaps between content. Plus, no more faded season, which many found frustrating, including me. Games like World of Warcraft are becoming more than just games. They're becoming a vibe. It's about the culture, it's about the cool voice lines or the transmogs, the memorable quest, and most of all, it's about us, the people playing the game. By focusing on this culture, Blizzard is returning to what made World of Warcraft special. All in all, the launch of The World Within feels like a new beginning for the game. It's not just about playing a great game, it's about being part of a vibrant community. And in case you were wondering if WoW is really back, the answer is yes. We're fucking back, baby. WoW is back.